All right, welcome back. It's time for us to go into our communities and get a bit of focus on different aspects of things happening around the country. Now, we're going to go to the Western region, specifically to Takoradi. Of course, the show is interactive. If you are watching us on social media, kindly use the hashtag #BreakfastDaily for us to hear what you're thinking. The WhatsApp line is 05505-85832. Do let us hear from you, especially if you live in the Western region, and share some of your experiences with us. The Takoradi Market Circle, an iconic structure, an iconic location in the entire West Africa. It's been undergoing a reconstruction. And let's take a look at this report that Akwesi Enimeje, our colleague, brought to us last year. And then we'll speak to him about the current state of the reconstruction process.
The second Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly has today kept its word by shutting all trading activity here at the Takoradi Market Circle just to make way for the construction, or should I say the redevelopment of the Takoradi Market Circle. And as you can see, traders are already moving, and several of the shops have their windows removed, and no trading activity is currently taking place here. But inside, we still have a lot of the traders who are still preparing themselves to actually move out of this place. The mayor of the metropolis tells City News that they've given them up to 10th of May to finally clear everything that they have to actually clear from the Takoradi Market Circle to the newly created temporary market.
We chose today as 3rd of May as the closure or closing date for the market, so that in between this time and on the 10th, market women would have done packing their tents. We would not wait till on the 10th before we close the market. We have given ourselves 1 week grace period to tidy up the place and hand over the site to the contractors. We cannot wait till the deadline. I can say conveniently that over 70% of the people have moved. They are preparing their place to relocate.
So this is the newly created temporary market that the second Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly is giving to the thousands of market traders who are to leave today from the Takoradi Market Circle to make way for the construction. But as you can see, construction is still underway. And several of the market traders are saying that they've not been allocated a place to actually ply their trade.
No problem. The first of all, Simon for me, baby. Yes, I'm called Jubilee Park. One, the table can say, "I want to table here, Chegu." Yeah, but I saw your baby. Other Simon for organize the first worker there. I had anyone call. Now, wait to your market circle, baby. I'm quite far. Yeah, to what if I'm about a single parent to come from a basa. No to meet nephew. Yes, any pavement. I'm called Jubilee Park. Jubilee Park is 2 months, but paper to win now. Yabaha, Obis Mane, my FI, Obis Hanya Media, FF was a hang and the Jubilee Squan you walk. Let's say for about what to about your tubi. And I get a chat on others, you have to your tickets. Obi chop attack, I have to tickets.
For now, the traders have expressed their disagreement with the assembly for pushing them here to actually come and trade when the place is not ready. But what has the assembly got to say?
These are the category of people who do not even have stores. They do not have shops. They are not even registered among the traders. They don't even have numbers. And these are people who are also trading here. And this category of people, we are envisaging that they will relocate to the Jubilee Park once we are done with the valley at Parkgrant. They will all come to that place and then continue with their trading.
As you can see, these market traders seem to be a bit scattered, and we just want to find out from them what is the concern over here.
Watch first batch, second batch no we relocating. No one now see there entry fee of 400 cedis. Yeah, but no watch would do no number will be whereby now pick wadi. But since 2 weeks ago, Yana to her meeting me human number. Me receipt or check them me 400 Ghana cedis no. But still me baby.
We are inside the newly created temporary market proper, and it's obvious that the place is not ready. We have mason workers actually still doing their construction. And over here, these are some of the spaces that have been created for traders who were selling at the Takoradi market circle. To tell me what is happening here. Chief, what is happening here?
But oh, the more market no. One so scenario. At same time no, these are the Adam using uncle. That no one. Another one right in your heart. And you water ever from what you want to when you light. This is another problem. And I didn't so no roofing. I sent them roofing through. Only what about 1 week you now do up to now roofing 1 week. Up to now roofing now do and there what's in there? What pill, pill, marketing, young queen side. Wire, Wamba, Madam Asham, next at school.
We are continuously working, and we believe by tomorrow or by Wednesday, all the lighting system should be in place.
One concern that has actually come up here is the issue of traffic. And so I have some drivers to actually tell me what concern they have with the traffic over here.
Oh, what they have to do is they have to open the other lanes so that we can even easily pass those areas, because right now I can see that they have even blocked the other lane that we cannot even use that one. So they have to do something about it immediately.
Yeah, I think the police people should come around so that they can control the traffic here.
Several of the market traders, you see them spread across the inner perimeter of the newly created Takoradi market, are complaining that they've not been allocated a space to sell. And that has been the situation all across the market points that we have actually been to.
Right, so this report was filed a little over a year ago. Now, Akwesi J.N.M., who put the report together, is our Western Regional Correspondent, and he joins us on the line. Thank you very much, Anim, and welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning.
Right, so quickly, give us an update on the state of the market so far.
Well, I would say the construction itself was actually delayed by close to 6 months. That is, the third cutting for this project was performed by the president prior to the 2020 election. And so it was anticipated that latest by at least January 2021 it will begin. But the demolition itself, took a while. In fact, the market was finally shut down about 4 months after the president cut the stop. And so that tells you that even before the market people left the old market, the project had delayed by 4 months. And after the demolition, after the market shut down, the demolition took about 1 month before the demolition of the old structure was completed. And so construction actually started, I think, after 6 months after the first cutting. And I can say that the construction actually started. It's been progressive since it started. And so the construction is actually ongoing as it is.
So what was the timeline given?
Well, the project, according to the president, is earmarked to take 3 years for construction. But as you know, it was delayed by about close to 6 months, and so that is something that we don't know whether it is going to be added to it. The contractors have indicated that even the 3 years, they were going to do it within 2.5 years. But since it was delayed by 6 months, we are still trying to find out whether they can make the 2.5 years that they talked about.
So currently, what is happening at the new market where the traders were relocated to? All is well?
Well, it's the same old story from day one. A lot of the market traders didn't actually get space. And they have to occupy the main access route to the market. And the fear right now, what the fear that they have right now is that they wouldn't suffer. I mean, what they suffered with the location when the new one is completed. They are hoping that when the new one is located, there were over 3,000 people who were actually, made to move from that place to the various satellite markets across the metropolis. Will all have a space to actually operate. They are hoping that they've also expressed the hope that the government will keep it on a timeline and quickly complete the project because they are really struggling with the congestion at the market.
Right, so let's come back to the old market site. You know, now the rains have also set in, very flat, terrible floods, you know, being experienced and all. Is this affecting the progress of work in any way?
It does to some extent. You know, what region has the highest rainfall, and it rains a lot over here. So whatever construction activity that you are carrying out, there will definitely be some level of impact on the pace of work. And so, I mean, it's really having some kind of impact on it, but to be contracted. And whenever they are able to get back and do their work.
And now, okay, a related question. So, in terms of the way the construction work is going on, do you find that they are working at night and day at the same time, or this is just like a 9 to 5 kind of thing? By evening they close and go home. What's the work like?
I only monitor daytime construction. Not really get ahead to the night time. Engineer for the assembly will be able to give us much information on that aspect.
All right, Akwesi. So in terms of looking forward, what have you spoken to anybody that can give us a sense of what we can expect in terms of? I know you said that because the deadline had been the start time changed 6 months later than when it was supposed to start. I don't know what people are saying, the engineers are saying as far as the expectations moving forward. Are there any hiccups that they are anticipating, or everything should be smooth sailing moving forward, and hopefully in 3 years they'll be done?
So far, we haven't actually come up with any obstacles or obstructions to their construction. But what they kept assuring us is that the project will be delivered within schedule, despite the initial delay.
All right, Akwesi, thank you very much for that. Okay, so that was our colleague Akwesi J. Enim bringing us an update on the Takoradi Market Circle reconstruction project. Yeah. So, Frima, well, I've passed through there, recently, relatively recently, and I saw what was happening there. It looked very frantic. There's a lot going on. Yeah. It's busy. Yeah. There's a lot going on there. I think the challenges for me, it would be good to speak to an engineer to find out, like the question you asked, especially about the rains, because the rains, this is that season, and it's been on for about a month and a half of heavy rainfall across. And of course, Akwesi mentioned that Western region has probably the highest rainfall in the entire country. So that would probably pose a challenge, and delay things a little bit. But again, if they work strategically and around the clock, maybe, with technology
but
also.
I would want to believe, we are trying to get the engineer, to talk to, to clarify things, but I would want to believe that they factor this in because this is something that we know would happen. Yeah. And we know that we'll have like two rainy seasons, in a year. So if you are planning, construction for 3 years, out of those 3 years, you probably would have about
6 rainy seasons.
Rainy seasons in there. So I'll be very surprised if you tell me that we did not factor this into the whole project. This is pretty straightforward.
Well, Engineer William Takoradi has joined us on the line. Good morning, Engineer.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
Yes, now we want to find out from you what the progress of work is like at the Takoradi Market Circle reconstruction.
Oh, thank you very much. Project is an EPC contract. EPC involves engineering, procurement, and construction.
Okay.
Currently, engineering is being done 100%. Procurement, we are around 78%.
Okay.
And the construction itself is about 49%.
I see.
The overall percentage is about 70%. But construction itself is about 49%.
Okay. That sounds quite impressive. I mean, considering the initial delay.
Yeah.
What's your schedule like? Do you do day and night, or are you working only days?
Yes, working mainly on day, but sometimes your night work also involved.
Okay.
Right. Now, when are we supposed to have this market completed?
Yeah, the market is a 36 months duration. And we're hoping that by February 2024, it should be completed.
Right. So are funds allocated to this project there? Is everything intact?
Yes, everything is intact currently.
Okay. Now, how are you managing the rains at this point?
Yes, we all know that Western region normally have a lot of rains during the rainy season. The rains normally when we always caution the contractor since they are new here. And when we get into the rainy season, it rains so much. So they also try working harder in the dry season so that they can be on schedule. And we can all bear that this year rain have been quite intensive. But they are managing it though, because work done is on schedule. And the meetings that we had with them, they will plan completing ahead of schedule.
Okay.
Now, how different will this new market, be from the old one that was demolished?
Yes, we all know that when it comes to the existing market that we had, a lot of issues are quite of a problem, and environmental issues, structural issues. Most of our flats were caving in and all that. And when it comes to fire, we didn't really have mechanism to control fire in the old market. And these are the things that the new market is coming to resolve. And we're having an enhanced and improved market structure itself, where we have fire suppressions all over. We'll be having modern shops, modern ancillary facilities like church, like police station, fire station, and other ancillary structures.
So, engineer, I know that across the entire West African region, the Takoradi market circle was pretty iconic. Are you maintaining a similar design? Is that the idea to maintain and enhance its status across the region?
Yes, exactly so. Like Riley mentioned, Takoradi market is iconic. It's in a circle form, and for that reason, our preliminary brief was that we should still have and maintain that architectural state. So we are still developing it in the circular form.
Okay.
But of course, enhance and design.
Right. So from everything you've said, nothing should affect the from you meeting your deadline, because the funds allocated are there, and work is also going on steadily. So in February 2024, we are having a market. Is that assurance you are giving us?
Yeah, that's assurance that we have. Unless, of course, if there should be an additional scope, and perhaps that might also affect the duration. But as we have now, we don't have any additional scope yet. So if it remains so, then by the February 2024, we should be able to have a new market.
All right, and just to quickly give us an idea, the current place where the market traders were resettled temporarily, do you have any brief to, add some kind of have influence on that space as well in terms of construction?
Oh, you mean the temporary market?
The temporary market, yes.
Can I get a question?
No. So what I'm asking is that, is it part of your brief as a reconstruction process to impact on the current temporary space? Are you doing any works there at all as well?
No, currently we are not doing any work there. We've substantially completed them. And the traders are in there. We relocated them successfully.
Okay.
Now.
So you actually did some work there before?
Yes.
Okay, before you moved them there. Okay.
That is an enabling work. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I know that is a temporary market. Now, per everything that you have mentioned, especially with what is going into the new market, i.e., if there's a fire outbreak, access routes, to solve problems and other little things. Did you factor this in when you were putting together the temporary market? I'm asking this because the new market or the old market that has been reconstructed is going to take 3 years, meaning that we could also record these kind of fire outbreaks, electrical problems and all that. Were some of these things factored in just to make sure that traders and patrons are safe?
Yes, we did our best to try and factor in some of these things. And currently we even have a fire station in the temporary market. But these are things that, if you compare what we are doing in the new market and what we have in the temporary market, funding is also an issue. So the main market has strong funding. For the temporary market, we have to try and use the little work that we have to do that. So those are the constraints that we have. But within those constraints, we've been able to do something that could contain them for the period of time that they will be at the temporary market.
Now, quickly before you go, just give us a bit of advice, in construction of markets, because we are still creating new settlements. We still have challenges, even some old markets are still being reconstructed, redeveloped. What should we be looking out for? Because it appears that sometimes what is on paper will turn out not to be exactly what comes out in reality. So as we move on for some of these kind of reconstruction, and creating new markets, what as an engineer, what should we be doing just to make sure that if there is any kind of disaster, we will not lose lives and properties that will be lost will also be minimized?
Okay, thank you. I think for the smooth running of such markets, first of all, engagement is key. All stakeholders have to be engaged well. Those who were using the market initially knew some of the problems that they had in the market. So when designs are done and they are not involved, that means somebody comes up. And secondly, like I said, we need to involve them. The engineers who have to be up and doing. We need to involve ourselves in whatever happens. Most of these developers are perhaps developers who have built markets elsewhere. But once you build a modern market, you have to look at the setup of the indigenous as well, that your design can be comprehensive enough to safeguard whatever product comes up.
Right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Right. So we've been talking to Engineer William Takoradi, who is head of work secondary Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly. So David, engineer tells us that he and his men and everybody involved have no excuse.
Yeah, it seems as though they are on
not
top
to meet
of
their
things.
their deadline.
From talking to him,
Yeah.
it seems that they are on top of things.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite impressed that after a 6-month delay, he says they are on schedule. And then he says the construction is 49% complete.
Wow.
He referred to engineering, procurement, and construction. So engineering is 100% done. And then procurement and construction is where they are now,
Well, so for me, yeah, a bit of work had gone in. I mean, from the pictures we are seeing, it looks good.
Yeah.
But from where I sit and with past experiences, I do not rush, to celebrate work that is not completed.
Yeah.
If you tell us that February 2024, we are going to have a market, I would want to wait.
Yeah.
And see, because I wouldn't really want to pat people at the backs now that we are doing well, and then halfway come and tell us that so the monies are not there, that this is not there.
Yeah.
I really don't want to hear that, you and so I'm a bit slow to accept.
No, which is fair. I mean,
exactly, so. And he is telling us that this is 49% done. This is done. I really want to see much more. things on paper to suggest that this is where we are, and also so we can all track, you know, the work being done easily.
Yeah.
I mean, when you watch the pictures, it looks good,
Yeah.
but we should also factor in that this market serves a huge number of people. Any delay is going to really cost us, you know, and also the space that we have we've allocated to the market. You know, sometimes with certain construction sites, you know, not long ago we're talking about that huge trench that has been dug over there.
Yes.
The moment you don't meet the deadline, the moment
there,
you stall, now it becomes a dead trap for people. There are metals that these are construction sites. So I would really want to believe that if monies are indeed there, let's not touch that money. Let's leave it and use it for its intended purpose. Because otherwise, this is going to be a major disaster. I really am happy that the engineer himself is telling us things are going on. And he also mentioned that if there are no additions, there are no other things that will come in, yes,
Then
they
there
can
should
meet
be
their
no
deadline.
delays, yeah.
So if we put things down, that this is what we are going to use, this is what we are following, let's stick to that, you know. And just so that this kind of citizens' confidence in government would be restored. Because now when there are talks like this, there are promises, we find it a bit difficult, you know, taking everything in. So I'm happy the engineer is giving us the assurance, you know, and so we'll just wait to see February 2024.
Well, for me, I
Take
don't
a
have any
market,
reason to doubt him.
and
So
I'm not doubting.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting.
Yeah.
I mean, I
If he
also
was a
have no
politician, I may
belief.
doubt, but-
No, I also have no reason, you know, to doubt him. But from past experiences, we've heard engineers speak, we've heard technocrats speak, but it turns out that, especially because you are not funding yourself, because you also rely on other people.
somebody else's funding.
Exactly. It happens that, I mean, people start road construction, they move with all the vim and vigor. Halfway through, what happens? They come back to tell you that, well, the this, the that, the that. So not he entirely, you know, he is doing his bit. But I just want to say that the people who should make this happen, just
make sure that they
push
make it happen.
and let's just support the engineer to do his work properly.
Yeah. Well, we have a report. Well, we have some conversations with some market traders this morning. Let's take a look.
And we are for the party biabama. And see, Yashawan, one in painful. Timor back at your handy. Yarusha there we are. Them a walk at your hand. Yes, Sabeka. Not it, my age. Yes, you there will do worry. And see, yes, send me there. Obey and Tamama hen. Ama, it my eye in the Juma. I make a come to my can because me, you be a.
Watch there. We are answer was about our pattern. Not said a baby. Kumasi de also see they be on 50 million. Na enechi. Wako ko pridanko. Inti mamu ne ahano sopo. Oya de one month there. Ana one specific among there. Wobaji day. Ana wobaji day. Imomu de also one do. We are. Also answer was about our pattern. Na mi so ma ase no was oba nen. Wobaji chem. Some molfum. Ebrufum. Ewa. You want mix. The more you know. Because more obey so why the we do he. Bambo papa biarinya. One jehon. Into the bia confirm one man we are no one.
That's why you buy people do be pass. Go market second.
No, in Tiama, no market no. On Kodo.
Yeah, no Kodo.
Market you can do. The man na call.
New market. But you know, Empire Bonny there, and I do market no by an and tam no damn. I mean, go for no so one because it's in Sutanada, one watcher one. Into a pedal and now you go no oya mahan. And Sana say, MPP be fida, we fido my NDC so, wah, but don't nany day you go no yarigi.
Only the children, Yami. Yaminala Ochene Bisu that Yabeji. They say, you need that to be a Yami going here now. Watch out.
All right, so a few market women and traders just expressing, you know, their sentiments about where they find themselves in the project that's ongoing. Well, we're going to take a quick break and don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.